Kate Patello.
I'm Leo Laporte. Thank you so much for joining us. Coming up in today's show, a look into the ideas of the turn-of-the-century visionary Bucky Fuller.
Buckminster Fuller.
Love him.
Did he create Fuller brushes?
No.
Oh, well. Also, Leo chats with ZDTV's own, our own beloved Patrick Norton about getting FireWire to work on your PC, which is a challenge, so I hear.
And giving back his shirt.
And giving back his shirt. That's right.
Then
Look
later,
at this. Oh, you missed it.
It was in my rack.
I think it's yours.
He does have one just like this.
Really?
Then later, online transactions made easy on today's Fresh Gear.
Fresh Gear. All right. Before we talk about today's topic for the chat room, let's check out the final results of our last poll. Voting with your wallet. Do you support the Amazon boycott? 81% of you folks say yes, and 19% say no. Well, all right. You can always find somewhere else to shop.
Look at that.
And there you have it.
Look
81
at
to 19.
Today in the chat room, we're asking, are you majoring in video games right now? Why? Well, you could if you wanted to. UC Irvine's offering a degree. Well, it's not a degree. You could take a degree in history or science or anything with an emphasis on video games.
Even dance. Did you know this? Computer science, interpretive dances about video games.
I am
the Tomb Raider. Okay, anyway. That was fabulous, man.
Thank you.
Yes, so you can put an emphasis on video games on just about any major they have at UC Irvine. And again, our question is,
are you majoring in video games?
Are you majoring in video games? I think I'm minoring in video games myself, or at least I did for a while when I was in ISU.
Oh, yeah, God, I think I'm still majoring in video games. I know if in college, if they'd had video games, I would have majored in video games. Back then, we didn't have anything electronic, actually. I majored in quill pens and slates. But if we had them, I would have.
Okay.
Actually, in all seriousness, I remember when the first Pong game came out. I was in college, and it was great. You know, they had the ones where you sit down, and I remember spending a whole day in a bar. And then later I played Pong. No, they actually had the Pong game in the bar. And I spent the whole day there playing Pong. And Pong was a stupid game, but that's how interested I was in video.
Oh, when I discovered chat rooms in a cafe, you can put quarters into the chat machine. Man.
They can do that now?
Yeah. You have them in cafes. You have a little quarter slot chat machine. Anyway, what do you think? You doing it? You're going to major in, are you currently majoring in video games, or will you? By the way, now the emphasis is either on design, for instance, or their effect on society. Lots of rich territory.
Are you majoring in video games?
You know where the web poll is, don't you?
Where?
Greensavers.com. And you know what that talkback does, don't you?
What?
It tells us how you really feel. What do you
can also go to the chat room, or you can telephone us, 888-989-7879.
Indeed.
Or chat with us at chat.zdnet.com. Screensaver's Room is a place where people hang out.
That's right.
Unless they want a magnet.
Unless they want a magnet and they want to be on television. And what a joy that is. See? We're on television. Look.
Yeah, aren't we happy?
Aren't we?
Who's in the...
Let's take a peek at the Netcam Cineplex,
Who's in the Netcam
if we can, and see who's in there today. There we go. Shannon and Jen. Hey, there's Lucas.
Who's
You
Luke?
got a BS in asteroids, huh? All right. There's Luke. He's visiting us from Newton, Georgia. Jen's playing on her palm there.
Luke's got his palm.
Luke and Kenny are here hanging out with us today. There, Luke, you got in the Netcam station. Nice.
Isn't that must be his goal in life?
He was very excited.
Was he?
He wanted to be on Spin today, but they...
Oh, that would be cute. Hey, by the way, you get that magnet if you get on the Screensavers via Netcam. And the magnetic pick today features on our fridge the self-described Truly Amazed Linda and pet bird Boca. They hail from Tacoma, Washington.
If you say that together like, Linda Boca, or Boca Linda, it means pretty mouth. Hey, you too can get your picture on our fridge. Just send it to the Screensavers at ZDTV.com and make fridge picture the subject line.
You got a pretty mouth.
See? Now we have Luke, a.k.a. Lucas. His full name is Lucas, but he introduces himself as Luke, And another friend visiting us today.
Yeah, in the chat room, 18-year-old Cub reporter Kenny Gow, who came out also from Newnan, Georgia, to interview the Screensavers and to hang with David Prager.
That's right.
That's what he's doing right now.
How you doing, Kenny?
Hey, wait a minute. That's my shirt.
Hey. How you doing?
Hey, isn't that the shirt Leo wore on Call for Help today?
This is not the shirt that Leo wore today on the show. Actually, Leo's stealing from me.
That's right. It's true. I decided
See, I
to
have
wear
the fashion. He has to copy. You know how it works.
I see how it is. Dave, are you being nice to him over there?
Oh, absolutely.
All right.
Wow, that's really neat. Why did you come out here, Kenny, really?
The real reason I came out here was to promote technology in the classroom.
Oh, that's good.
Also, as everyone knows, I came out here to meet both of you.
Oh, that's neat. Well, we're glad to have you.
Well, I'm sorry to be such a disappointment.
I think he had a good time with you earlier today.
So,
I saw you guys sitting down in the company lounge with the giant chess set.
And can I just tell you, from now on, I want to do all interviews from a beanbag. Can we do the show from a beanbag? Oh my goodness! We can crawl out of the thing and go, oh dude, let me tell you about computers in the classroom.
Well, we were, the original concept of the show had us in Lazy Boys. We really wanted to have recliners on the set, big plaid wool recliners, but Jason didn't have them.
We also wanted snacks in our fridge, but we just have books.
Jason joins us on the ZDTV NetCam network from Simpsonville, South Carolina. Hello, Jason.
Hello, Jason.
Hi.
Hi. Yeah.
What's up?
I think Jason just saw the Tigger movie.
What's up, Buttercup?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I want to know if I have a problem with my computer. It's running very slowly lately.
Oh, I hate it
and
when that
it's
happens.
constantly writing to the hard drive.
Oh.
And when I look at System Monitor, it says I have 64 megabytes of RAM, but whenever I open something, it says I only have like 2K of memory left, and that
You must be really smart. You must be really smart, Jason. Let me show you what he's doing, and this is exactly what you should do. If your system starts slowing down and you see it's hitting the hard drive a lot, go to Accessories, System Tools, and run that System Monitor he was talking about. It allows you, right now we're looking at processor usage, but I can add, if I would like, I can add another item to it. And you added, obviously, if I go in
Memory
here.
Manager.
Yeah, I think that's where it is.
And then you have allocated. Now, what memory?
Swap file in use? Is that what you looked at? Or you just looked at RAM, probably?
Well, he said it's using his swap file. You think your machine is using your swap file, but not using your RAM. Is that what's going on? That's what you think is happening?
Well, no, I'm going to show you right here. So
here you go.
I added two things here. I've added swap file in use, and I've added Memory Manager allocated memory. And what you say, and by the way, it's happening right here for us. We have on this machine 64 megs of RAM, but look, it's allocated almost 72 megs. So what you need to look at is how much memory is in use. Windows, by the way, will grab all the memory it can. Okay? That doesn't mean it's going to hit the swap file. What will happen, even if you only have one program running, it may well grab all that memory, but then another program runs, it will split up what it's got. So a program can be greedy and say, give me all the memory unless anybody else wants it. It's like going to a buffet and say, I'll take all of that unless anybody else shows up. Right?
Yeah,
so that's not meaningful, but what is meaningful is swap file in use. And since you're telling me your hard drive's getting hit, I bet you that your swap file's in use a lot. Have you looked at that to see that?
Yeah, it says I'm using like 30, on general it says about 38 megs of swap file in use.
That's not too bad.
That's not bad, considering that when we talk about making a hard swap file, we talk about double your RAM. So in theory, your swap file could be 128 meg. If you're only using 38 meg, that's actually not bad. That's pretty small.
Remember, anytime you're hitting the hard drive for memory instead of RAM, that's a bad thing,
right?
Yeah,
why is that, Leo? Why does that happen?
Well, so that's a bad thing, right? So even 38 megs could be a bad thing, but you always are using some of your swap file. So what's happening is obviously you're using something that's using up more memory than it should, or you're running low on memory. Now, 64 is normally a lot. What programs are you running? Is it more than one, Jason?
Well, normally I use programs like America Online and,
And then you have other programs running like
Word and Netscape and stuff like that.
Well, that's what's happening.
Those are normal applications.
Yeah, but remember, each one of those might take 20 or 30 megabytes. What I want you to do is look at, using fewer programs, close one out before you open the other one. That's going to speed your machine up. You might want to get more memory. 64 is quite a bit, but if you've got them all running at the same time, this is you did the right thing. This is a really useful tool. If you start seeing a lot of that swap file in use, then you're going to want to back down on the number of programs you got running to give yourself some more free RAM. You want to run out of RAM whenever possible. Maybe
he should try downloading MaxMem from Analog X, which is a memory flusher. And you can play with that and set it for different things, set it to use aggressive memory. I can't remember all the settings, to be honest with you, Jason. But you know our friend Mark Thompson in Analog X? Go to analogx.com and download his memory tool, and that'll sit in the tray and allow you, if you double-click on it, it'll flush your memory or purge your memory. So give that a try.
What happens as programs are used is that your memory gets fragmented, and sometimes blocks of memory are allocated, and pretty soon the programs are having trouble moving around. So it's kind of squishing it down, giving a contiguous area of memory to each program, things like that. It does improve the performance and the reliability. So maybe try that as well, but mainly run fewer programs at the same time.
Absolutely.
Close out. I see that all the time. I go over to somebody's desk at work, and they got 20 programs on this icon bar down here. That your computer's not going to be fast and reliable with that going on.
Close the stuff. Okay, Jason?
Okay.
All right, good luck, dear. I mean, sir. Sir. You're not patronizing, sir. Thank you, sir. After the break. Bye, Jason.
A ticker's a wonderful thing.
How do the ideas of an early 20th century visionary match up with what's going on today? The world of humanist inventor Buckminster Fuller when the screensavers continue. I just like to say it, Buckminster Fuller.
Yeah, Bucky. Screensavers, there's a new generation of processors on the horizon.
Bringing the promise of higher performance and increased flexibility.
But what will they work with your existing software?
New processors and compatibility issues on the next Screensavers.
Again, for Kate and Leo's Geek Library, where we recommend for your geek pleasure one of our all-time favorite books, movies, software titles, or bookmarks.
What we got this week there, Mr. Leo?
It's in the fridge because it's so cool. Bucky Works. Now, let me talk about Buckminster Fuller. I remember in college, about 123 years ago, I went to a lecture by Bucky. Actually, it was about, probably 20 years ago, 25, 30. Anyways, a long time ago. And Bucky was already in his 80s at that time. I've never been so inspired by a speaker ever.
Wow.
Every once in a while in life, somebody comes along who is a true iconoclast, somebody who doesn't go along with the norm, marches to a different drummer, who thinks out of the box,
Cliff
to use a modern phrase. Cliff might be. I think Bucky is in our generation the guy. Buckminster Fuller was an inventor, an engineer, an advocate of social reform who maybe didn't personally changed the world, but he sure changed a lot of people. Buckminster invented, among other things, the Dymaxion car. Now, this is in the 30s, remember. It was the first streamlined car. In fact...
You're kidding, in the 30s? In
the 30s. Now, it was unfortunately greeted with skepticism and, in fact, didn't do very well. He at the time said the Ford Model T, which was the current car of the time, was so unaerodynamic, it'd probably drive better if you drove backwards. And actually, he was right. It probably was more aerodynamic. Unfortunately, this wasn't the safest car in the world. In fact, even the world was very skeptical, and eventually one of its drivers died when the car got in a crash.
Oh, dear.
But it was very, very innovative at its time. He's best known probably for his geodesic domes. Here's a geodesic dome picture. These you see everywhere still. And well, did the geodesic dome change the world? No. Did the
but it made great monkey bars and playgrounds across the world.
Did the Dymaxion car change the world? No, it didn't. But Bucky lives on in his ideas and his dreams, and, in fact, in a subatomic particle called buckyballs, which were named after... Buckminster Fuller.
Is that it on the back? Is that a buckyball?
That might be, come to think of it.
That looks like molecular structure.
Well, it's subatomic, so I don't know if that does look like a molecule, but the buckyball is subatomic.
You see that? There you go.
If you're all interested in an unusual genius who didn't change the world but changed the way a lot of people think, and probably indirectly did, in fact, change the world quite a bit. This is a great introduction to Buckminster Fuller. It's called Bucky Works, Buckminster Fuller's Ideas for Today, and it really does put him in a perspective that I think is wonderful. A lot of people these days don't know about Bucky, and I think that's a shame. I think we all live a richer life because he lived and created the concept of Spaceship Earth and a whole lot more. Read about Buckminster Fuller. This is should be in every geek's library. And I hope it's in yours.
All right. Well, it's going to be in mine.
To fill out, you can read that. To fill out your Geek Library collection, check out our website, a complete listing of all of Kate and Leo's recommendations from years gone by at thescreensavers.com.
All right.
Now we're going to send Kate off to read and maybe do a little chatting, too. Coming up next, Patrick Norton. He's here to help you move video to your PC or taking a look at Firewire when the Screensavers continues. Screensavers.com, a wonderful place to know more about what's on this show, and of course to find out after the show about stuff we talked about in our show notes. Every day after the show, we actually send out an email with a little kind of mini column that I write. From my fingers to your inbox. If you want to subscribe, go to the website, click on subscribe to the show notes, and you too will be getting the Screensavers email every day in your box. www.thescreensavers.com. With the ZDTV Netcam Film Fest just a stone's throw away. If you'd like to throw stones, please be my guest. We've invited ZDTV Senior Technical Editor and all-around nice guy, Patrick Norton, here to show us about the pros and cons of getting video into your computer using Firewire.
Firewire?
We don't call it Firewire anymore, do we?
We can call it FireWire, 1394, iLink. There was the one you had.
The new one, well, Bill McCrone told me everybody's supposed to call it HPSB, High Performance Serial Bus. I'm sorry, Patrick. It's not going to win.
FireWire. Sony calls it iLink.
Yeah, well, and that's, I think, one of the reasons people are promoting HPSB is because it's not trademarked. And iLink and FireWire are, I guess 1394 is okay.
Yes, but it's not as obscure and difficult to pronounce as
HPSB.
HABC. Throw the cat.
What is FireWire?
Okay, FireWire is an interface, right? So it's a way to bring data into your computer.
This is a FireWire card.
Right.
A lot of computers now, Sony's doing this, Compact's doing this, have FireWire. Apple, of course, is doing it, FireWire on board, so you don't even have to add it to your computer after the fact. But this is how you'd add it to a PC.
Exactly. In some ways, it's a lot similar to USB because you've got like a single cable,
right?
And you plug it into your peripheral.
This is the cable. Actually, it almost even looks like a USB connector on this end. It's slightly different.
So you plug it into, let's say, a video camera.
Yeah. And
you can plug the other end into the computer.
Well, let's do that. So that's plugged into your camera, and this is we're going to plug into the PC. Little U shape goes down there.
Exactly.
Right. Now, is it hot swappable like a USB?
It's hot swappable. It's plug and play. It's hot swappable.
Supported by Windows?
Supported by Windows.
98 SE?
98 and 98 SE.
Okay.
That's for the least painful interpretation of 1394 on the PC. Okay. It's going to be on Windows 98.
As usual, and this was true of USB when it first came out.
Well, it's also we've been working with a bunch of 1394 boards here, and they've been a nightmare, Leo.
They are. Well, we've had the same problem. It was hit and miss whether one board would work with a camera or not.
Yeah.
You know,
Why is that? Well, part of it's also is they didn't have a lot of standardized testing. They weren't like USB. They had like the plug fest, and 135 vendors get together. They bring all their toys, and they actually
standard like USB. I mean, there's a specification.
Well, as one engineer once said to me on the phone, sometimes people interpret a standard in different ways.
Now, let me ask, did Apple do it right or wrong?
As far as
Apple seems to work with everything.
Apple basically said, hey, this is our standard. We're going to open it up to the world. Y'all do what you will with it. What happened was the Adaptec 1394 boards, the 8920, and a couple of the others have been really problematic. Partially, it's my understanding, don't quote me on this, but they created an ASCII layer that wasn't compatible with a lot of the 1394 devices. So
that's their software layer that they use for SCSI, but also now works with the
Exactly. So don't buy an Adaptec card.
Really?
Yeah, the Pyro cards that we were using are pretty good. Actually, that's
this is ADS,
Pyro DV.
right?
ADS is Pyro DV.
Okay.
Nice card, except for the first generation, they didn't power the bus.
So there's no power on the connector.
Right.
What devices require power on the connector?
Well, if you're using a small hard drive or a small peripheral, it might actually pull all. In theory, it's supposed to pull all its power
as in
off
USB,
the bus.
right?
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
So we could actually power one device, but you couldn't power the second or third device like you were supposed to.
I got it. Now we've seen a lot of cameras hooked up. You have something else that you might want to hook up. This actually is better than a USB hard drive.
Much better.
A FireWire hard drive.
Well, FireWire is all about bandwidth. Well, it's all about two things. One of them is bandwidth.
Right.
So you can get a theoretical maximum of 400 megabits per second.
Which is fast.
Right.
That's as fast as SCSI almost. Slower SCSI.
Well, the truth is these are theoretical maximums. You're going to take a stack of hard drives in a RAID configuration, and it's going to,
it's going to deteriorate.
You may once hit 400 megabytes per second.
Because that's 400 megabits per second is 50 megabytes per second.
Yeah.
That's faster than the SCSI spec.
Yeah. Well, the truth is, there's nothing that will shovel data over that line fast enough.
So no hard drive needs it.
Exactly.
I love how this looks.
Yeah, but the idea is that you have more bandwidth than you need, then you don't have to worry about bandwidth being constrained.
So far, though, mostly people using this with cameras, right?
A lot of cameras.
Let's show them how this works. We have set up. You put which card in here?
That is the Pinnacle.
Pinnacle. Okay. Yeah. Another good one.
Studio DV. Actually, great package, nice software. This actually comes with a decent software package, and it's pretty easy to use.
And we're using the Canon Allura camera?
Canon Allura camera.
With FireWire out. Most of the new DV cameras, in fact, I think all of them have FireWire.
Pretty much all of them.
What's the advantage of using FireWire to connect a camera?
Well, compared to, let's say, you mean like using the RCA jack out the back of it and plug it into your VCR?
Yeah.
Well, what it does...
Well, look, I'm recording.
Exactly.
Look at that.
And so what this does is it actually takes the digital video and it can actually pull it uncompressed from the camera straight onto your hard drive. So you don't have to worry about compression. You don't have to worry about capturing it. You don't have to worry about your hard drive speed. You don't have to worry about your processor speed. Be really careful videotaping Deb.
She doesn't like it? There's Kate. There's Deb. Hi, Deb. How you doing? There's Kate. Say hi to David. So this is fun.
Yeah, so what it's actually doing is right now we're pulling the video live on that.
Well, this is recording?
This is recording.
Well, I'm not seeing, you know what's really good? I'm not seeing much frame drop out. I mean,
exactly.
This really looks great.
Now, if you bopped it all the way up to like, 700 by 480 by 30 frames per second, you might start tweaking a little bit. But the nice thing is 1394 is what they call isochronous communication. So it's length to time. So the idea is that you're going to lose fewer frames because it's keeping track of what's going on.
Right, as opposed to asynchronous.
Right, which just sort of
synchronous.
Which just sort of sends packets out.
Right. So this is I think this is kind of hard for people to get, but this is not a video capture card in here. That's merely a FireWire interface. So there's no digitizing going on. Right. It's digital from the camera.
Yeah. The camera captures.
That's doing the digging.
It's doing all the digging inside the camera and lays it the digital format on
and that's
the tape.
a digital stream coming down the pipe here.
Exactly. There's actually a videotape inside that camera that we can pull out.
Right.
Mini DV.
Okay. Go ahead and do that. So the advantage of this is, in theory, I can dump the digital data faster than real time because I'm not digitizing it. Do any cards do that yet?
Well, what usually is happening with the software is usually it'll create you'll do almost like a proxy of like let's say I have a bunch of video and I want to use that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull down a compressed version of that video.
Right.
Because a 20-minute video is going to take about 4 gigabytes in this digital format coming straight off.
20 minutes, 4 gigs.
4 gigabytes.
Okay, now I understand the problem here.
Exactly.
I don't have the drive big enough.
And, working with a file that size in the memory of your system is a nightmare because you'll be sitting there. Y'all want to talk about keeping files busy. So what this does is you might say, okay, I'm going to pull it in at 320 by 240 and I'm going to
just because of my limitations of my computer, not because of the limitations in FireWire.
Well, what that'll do is, but then you can edit it, press a button, and it'll pull the actual full-size, full-quality video
down
down
edit
on
list,
your system.
Create the thing you want with small video, and then do full high-quality video and go have a cup of coffee.
Exactly.
Got it.
And then
sounds like FireWire is really the future for video productions on PCs.
It's becoming huge. I mean, the iMac DV, it was around on the PC before that, but the iMac DV was really like a stake in the sand.
Yeah,
like, hey, look at how easy we can do this.
This is great. Patrick, thanks for showing us. I guess FireWire is finally here and working on the PC side as well now as it works on the Mac side.
We hope.
I appreciate it. If you want more information on what we discussed today, visit the screensavers.com for Patrick's complete article on implementing FireWire technology on your PC, what to get and what not to get. Actually, it's not up yet. It's going to be up tomorrow morning.
Okay.
Okay? All right. You're going to finish it?
It's done.
Oh, good. Folks, don't start flipping. Still to come on this very show, Martin Sargent joins us with his Talking Worldwide website. What? Also, more answers to your computing problems, plus online transactions made easy, all that and more as the Screensavers rolls on. Welcome back to the Screensavers. I'm Leo Laporte.
I'm Kate Patello. Thank you for joining us. You like that? I'm Kate Patello.
Scared me. You woke me up, but I'm glad you did that. It's a shame to sleep through the rest of the show. It's going to be wonderful.
So let's see how our 18-year-old cub reporter, Kenny Gal's, doing in the chat room. You got a report on the chat room, Kenny?
Yeah, I got a little report for you.
Tell me,
I've been talking to Pete McDermott, which I'm sure we all know.
Yes, Pete, whose dad was on the other day.
Yep, Dad was on the other day. Well, he was telling me that he wants to get his new site plugged on here, so might as well take the time. It's, well, of course, got to get that. Yeah, it's fanation.com.
Fanation?
Yep, F-A-N-A-T-I-O-N.
Is it a ZDTV fan site? Or?
Of course, they're all ZDTV fan
Aren't
sites.
they all?
Of course, aren't they all?
Now that Fox is closing the Buffy the Vampire sites, I think that actually is true, that the only ones left are the ZDTV sites.
They're all switching over.
Because we're not going to, we know the fan sites are good, right?
Right.
Hey, thanks, Kenny.
Keep
up the good work.
Yep.
Good reporting.
Good job.
Good job. Great. I want to say, every time you say cub reporter, I want to say, Great Caesar's Ghost. Nobody remembers that. Janelle joins us on the ZDTV Netcam network from Noonan, Georgia. Do you know Kenny Gal?
He's my brother.
Oh,
well, your brother's like becoming a star here, you realize.
It's totally...
He's not a star.
You know the truth. He's your little brother or your big brother?
He's my big brother.
Ah.
Okay.
Ah, the truth comes out.
Be nice, Janelle.
Tell us some secrets
about
No. Okay, all right.
Come on, let the guy keep a little dignity. He's sitting over there like, please, don't.
Brother and sister.
All right.
What can we do for you, Janelle?
I want to know what's the difference between a FireWire and a USB.
We just talked about FireWire.
Yes, you did.
That's great. Right now, there's a big difference.
Speed.
Yeah.
12.5 megabits versus...
12 megabits for the FireWire and 400 megabits. 12 megabits for USB and 400 megabits for the FireWire.
Also,
that's a substantial difference.
USB holds 127 and FireWire 64.
Right. So that's a big difference. Now, USB 2.0 is due out, and if it comes out as Intel says it will at the end of this year, it's interesting. They say, it'll be around 450, just a little bit faster than FireWire.
401.
Right now, the difference is what you can do with it, right? There's a lot of USB devices, mice, scanners, keyboards. I don't recommend, by the way, USB keyboards, because if you have a problem with your system booting...
Then how are you supposed to boot in? You need Windows for the USB drive.
So I recommend a real keyboard as opposed to a USB keyboard. Even if your BIOS supports it, it can be problematic. But there are a lot of little devices that make sense on USB, even on a low-speed serial port. Whereas really pretty much FireWire, we're seeing hard drives and cameras.
Multimedia, yes. Hard drives.
Things that will really take advantage of that higher speed. Now, that may change. Remember, USB has been around for about 5 years. FireWire has been around for almost 10 years. They've both been around for a long time. USB 2.0 is the new baby. It might take it 5 years to develop. I don't think it will. But so I guess the difference only is, what do you want to run? And if you're going to get I think every computer should come out with at least USB, and virtually all the new computers, Mac and Windows, do come out with USB.
Yes, they do.
Many of them are coming out with FireWire, but right now that's merely to connect cameras. That may change, but right now that's what you should think of it as. USB for peripheral devices, FireWire for cameras.
All right?
Okay,
Janelle, do you have anything nice to say to your brother before you pretty please take us to break?
I love you.
There you go.
Love you too.
All right.
I'm going to cry.
Thanks for being nice. Now, Janelle, will you pretty please take us to break?
Thanks, Kate and Leo. Online transactions are getting easier with SumiDAS. We'll show you how when the Screensavers continues.
That was wonderful.
And very family friendly.
Now you can pull the phone down and make a big smile so we can see your lovely face as we come out. Brother and sister, everybody looks fabulous. Yay! information about what's on the show. You know it's true. Now, how much do you know about chip speed? Test your knowledge. Take this week's Super Geek Challenge all about the speed of your computer at thescreensavers.com.
And congratulations to Greg from Knoxville, Tennessee, the winner of yesterday's Super Geek Quiz T-shirt or cap giveaway.
Da-da-da-da. Hey, folks, if you don't fill out the form after you've taken the quiz, we don't know where to send your stuff, and you can't win. So, you know. Sorry, David. Wow, I just, knocked him upside the head with the I'm sorry, dude. Hey, use your cell phone to buy a soda. On today's A Fresh Gear.
While I love shopping online, I have to admit that it's a far from perfect process. But Presto Technologies has come up with a new way to make online transactions a little easier. This is the Presto Pass. Inside here is an RFID tag, and inside this mouse pad is an RFID tag reader. Here's how it works. You can store your personal information and your personal preferences on this Presto Pass. This actually belongs to Henry, who works at Presto, so that's why his information is going to pop up, as you can see here. I'm Henry Holtzman for the day. So here's how it works. This is going to remember things like what my favorite type of coffee is. So, for example, Henry likes a large chai. I actually like a large chai, too.
The Presto Pass will also remember logins and passwords for websites you visit often, automatically fill in forms, and charge your credit card for online purchases, all with just a wave. RFID tags can also be put into products, even film.
Watch as I put this on the reader. The images that are on this roll, this Advantix roll, pop up on the screen. Now, like I said, shopping online is by no means a perfect experience, but with the Presto Pass, at least it'll be a little faster and a little easier.
Presto Pass obviously targets online shoppers, but if you haven't braved to retail on the web, here's something with broader appeal.
How many times has this happened to you? It's a hot summer day, you're walking along, you're really parched. You see a vending machine, you want to get a drink, but you check your wallet, you check your purse, you don't have any change. What do? Well, now there's a solution. This is the Teledrink, and with this, you could use your cell phone to dial a number as it's listed here on the vending machine, and you'll get a recorded message. It'll say press 1 for cola, press 2 for Diet Cola, and so on. So you just enter in your selection, and the purchase, the soda, will get charged to either your credit card or your cell phone bill, and you won't have to go thirsty.
At like what, 80% interest?
Yeah,
I don't know about that. You can get your new Fresh Gear, though, every weekend afternoon at 12:30 Eastern, right here on ZDTV. It's fresh. It doesn't mean we have to think it's all perfect.
See, now if I could say Coke and do that, then I would do that.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
That'd be good.
Where'd you get that?
I don't know. I just found it sitting here. Here's an email. Here's an email from Steve. He says, I'm looking for a program that could be embedded into a website that would read the pages out loud to anyone who's sight impaired. Is there a program like this? And would the person accessing the site be able to turn this feature on and off as desired? Listening to the web instead of reading the web when the screensavers continues. No, I'm looking for a program that I could embed into a website that would read pages out loud to anyone who's sight impaired. We set Martin Sargent to work, and he's found a couple of really good solutions.
Couple things. First thing that popped into my mind is Microsoft Agent. If you're not familiar with Agent, really what it is a collection of ActiveX controls that allow you to make it sort of an interactive character, put them on your web page or across your applications, and this character can be programmed to speak.
Wow. So he'll read the web page for you.
He'll read it for you. All you have to do is, and the way that I like to do this is with a program called MASH, and that stands for Microsoft Agent Scripting Helper. It's $25 shareware, free to try. So what I'll do is I'll pick Merlin. He's going to be our agent.
So he's the agent.
Right, and if I want to make him move around the page, I'll put in these XY coordinates here and say move to. Now notice, as I put those directions in, it's automatically scripted for me in the scripting box here.
So this is actually writing in the special script language
and I
for
can
agent.
export this into several different forms of Java, HTML, and that sort of thing, so I can embed it right into my website.
You can, by the way, grab him, can't you?
I can move him wherever you want.
And this is important. He's not tied to the web page. He can be anywhere on the page.
Right on.
Now, this doesn't help somebody who's blind particularly.
Well, it could.
Because they don't see him. So
that's right. So that doesn't matter.
Right.
Okay.
But they might think those strange sounds emanating from their computer. Like I hear him scratching his head. That's a little odd.
Yeah, let's see what I've done here.
But you've written a little script.
I did.
Am I on TV? Woo. Sorry. Now Martin will show you how I might help the visually impaired get information from the internet.
Wow.
It's like this. Microsoft Agent 2.0 is a pretty sharp little program, actually a collection of ActiveX controls that might be what Steve is looking for, depending on how extensive that oncology site is. Microsoft Agent lets you incorporate interactive characters into applications and web pages. You can program these characters to talk, jig around the page, and do all manner of wacky stuff. However, the characters can easily be shut up.
This script took me about 2 minutes to write.
Really?
That's how simple it is.
Well, where'd the text come from?
The text I just cut it out of the article I wrote.
Yeah. Now let's see.
He said, by the way, I want to fight Leo.
Wait a minute, I didn't put that in.
No, he didn't.
He wouldn't say that.
Oh, now he runs away.
So yeah, say I can see and I go to the site that this is embedded in. All I have to do is right click on it and hide him, and he's going to go away, so I don't have to.
So that's kind of a nice accessibility feature. You could have him automatically show up, and you could say, if you don't want me to be around and read this page.
That's right.
And then you would paste the contents of the page into the script.
That's right, and then I just export it as whatever I want to put it in.
Oh, that's nice.
Now, of course, most people are visually impaired. I mean, this might be a waste of time because they're going to have screen readers, things that can take text and output them to speech.
You shouldn't it'd be kind of silly to presume that they don't. How would they have gotten there in the first place? They must have some way of access.
Right. So this is IBM Homepage Reader. It is a browser. You know, so the instructions here are all in Braille.
Oh, yeah, there's Braille on here.
And what this does is goes through the web page, and there's a text-to-voice converter in here, and it will convert it, and you can read the web pages.
Can you explain the new address model that is specified in IPv6 or in?
This is off of our site, Screensavers.
Brace yourself.
Really?
I've got some bad news. Sooner or later, the world is going to run out of unique IP addresses.
Now, you mentioned when you were doing this, it's been reading all the tags on the left, and you said, I wish I could get it not to do that, but a blind person...
That's right. That's the problem. I set this up so it was going to start right there. Normally what would happen, if you look at the Screensaver site, or really any of the good sites that are around today, there's all this other stuff on there. And it is going to be read before it actually gets to the meat and potatoes of the article.
So in other words, the site isn't ideally designed for accessibility. Right. And that's a hard thing to balance. You want a site to look good, but you also want it to be accessible to people who are not looking at the site.
Martin, how do we know if our site's accessible or not?
Well, there's actually a program called Bobby, which will tell you if it's accessible or not. And why don't we go to that right now?
All right, Bobby?
Whoops, that's not Bobby at all.
I always think of King of the Hill when I hear Bobby.
He might be hidden. He might be hidden there. Let's see if we can see Bobby. Is that Bobby? Is that Bobby?
Bobby's been shut down.
Oh man, who shut Bobby down, man?
Well, Bobby
he's got
does.
a shortcut on the desktop.
Okay.
It's there.
What Bobby does is analyzes the site. Okay.
There it is.
And you type in a URL in there, and it's going to tell you whether or not your site is accessible.
Based on what criteria? Where are these criteria?
Based on things such as, like, here comes Bobby. Like, do you have textual equivalents to all the graphics on your page, or is it just a picture?
Alt tags.
Right. And you have to do this kind of thing for any type of graphics, video links, charts, and graphs. Have to have an alt tag on there so that the screen reader can read that. And obviously, a person who can't see isn't going to be.
This is actually from a good group, CAST, which is the Center for Applied Special Technology, and they have done a lot on making stuff accessible.
That's right.
I'm actually familiar with their work. They have a great web page. This is a neat product.
You can download this program, or you can just go to their web page and type in the URL of your your page, and it will tell you either way. And it will suggest ways that you can improve your site to make it more accessible. By the way, the screensaver site passed, and that allows us to put a Bobby tag on the site. However, the ZDTV homepage did not pass.
Don't.
Well, we'll just talk to those people. And that's just by totally chance, by the way, I might add. But that's nice, and I think every website should probably use Bobby. And you want to make yourself accessible. I'm going to have to run it on Leoville, see if I pass.
Oh, that's interesting.
I didn't check that out.
We got a lot more tips for you at thescreensavers.com in Martin's great article. And while we don't have the agent to read it to you, you can read it to yourself.
All right.
Thanks, Martin.
My pleasure.
All right, see you in a
Always
bit.
good to see you. Andy's joining us on the phone from Atlanta. Andy, we've only got a couple minutes to take your call, so just go for it.
Hi, Andy.
Hi.
Hi, guys. Where can I find out how to play multiplayer mode on internet gaming on the internet?
You want to play other people on the internet?
Yeah.
It really depends on the game. Well, it depends what game you're going to play.
Find out where they are.
So, what games do you like to play?
Like sports games, Quake 3, which I don't have, but I like to play that game.
Most games have a multiplayer mode. Quake 3 is a very good example. What you'll see when you get it and you run it, you drop down the menu, you say Internet, or actually you click on a button that says Internet Play. It'll pull up a whole list of people who are running Quake servers that you can join. Kate's showing a Heat.net, which is one of a category of companies that provide interactive servers that you would then have to. Now you'd have to own the game. Often you can play it with the demo version. But so you pick the game. Microsoft Zone, which is the Zone.com. The gaming zone is another place. There's a lot of BlizzardNet you like because that's where you can play Diablo. It's from the folks who gave you Diablo. GameSpy is another thing entirely, which is kind of a neat program. If you download it from GameSpy.com, it'll go out and find private servers. So this is a public server that's a commercial enterprise. Usually you have to pay to subscribe to it. The advantage of it is it'll help you find other people to play. I think these companies are kind of in trouble right now, because places like 10 and Heat.net, because most games come with built-in servers. You don't need them. And if they don't, you can always use GameSpy to find you a server.
That's true.
So going to the private servers saves you the money, and oftentimes maybe you'll even play faster because you could find a server that's near you. So does that make sense to you? Really, the bottom line is look in the game that you've got to see if it supports Internet play. It may well. Almost all the new games do. And if not, you could always go to the Zone.com or Heat.net and play there, or download GameSpy from GameSpy.com. And if it supports the game you want to play, it doesn't support all games, it'll help you find other people who are playing online. Okay?
Okay.
Hey, thanks for the call.
So I think we've got
we'll see you online. And the Zone, it's actually Zone.com, not
Zone.com. I'm like, what? Who? All right. So give that a shot. See what you can do. And many games also have their own internal servers that you can go look out for. They'll send bots up. Hello, and welcome to the V-mail portion of the show, where we ask you, the viewer, to be a part of the show. It's easy to record a video, email, and send it to us. You know how to do this. Your instructions, your script, it's all waiting for you. Screensavers.com. It's all behind that interact button, so just click on it. Now, Mike from Peru, Indiana did it, and so can you. So show them, Mike. Show them how it's done.
I'm Mike from Peru, Indiana. Don't touch that dial. The original dynamic duo of computers will return when the Screensavers continues.
back to the screensavers. Take a peek up there on your screen, and you'll see that so far, 56% of you are majoring in video games, and the rest of you are reading books. All right. Got 24 hours to go in there and vote at thescreensavers.com. We usually like to read some email here, but I also thought since we read messages from people, I came in here this afternoon to set up the computers, and I found a little message.
Well, yesterday we were talking about Jim's castle that he's building in Vermont.
Right.
You know, with the moat,
and he
the
said
surfs
with the
in the
surfs
basement.
And take a look at this little note he left me this morning.
It says, "This is my castle."
He said, "Yeah, dear Kate and Leo, this is my castle in Vermont." Isn't that cute?
He put castle in quotes, but you know what? That ain't in the castle.
It's a beautiful
I didn't realize how beautiful that house was.
Well, I just love Jim.
That's gorgeous. And by the way, we're all invited anytime we're in Vermont to go stay there.
Are we now? Really?
Right?
Is that the royal we? Deb and I are like, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You should see when it snows.
But I just thought that was so sweet, that little note. I like Jim. He's cool. All right,
very
what do you
cute.
got?
Saint. The Saint.
The Saint? From Florence, Alabama.
I didn't know the Saint was from Florence, Alabama.
I didn't either.
He says, I'm planning on building my own PC. I was wondering if I should go with a dual Celeron machine or should I wait for the gigahertz chips and stick with Windows 98. Now the key is you got to ask, when anybody asks a question like that, what are you going to do with it?
Mm-hmm.
He says, I'll be doing quite a bit of gaming and game design, but I'd like to keep the price down and the speed high.
98.
Now, you know that I designed a dual processor Celeron machine because it was cheap.
Right.
But and now he says I'm going to run Windows 2000, BOS, Linux, and Windows 98. All of those are multiprocessor aware except Windows 98.
Yes.
Most games are not multiprocessor. The only one I know of is Quake, and I have Quake 3, and I haven't seen any benefit from having multiprocessor.
Okay, that's very important.
So I play games on my machine, and I have fast Celerons. But if you want the best gaming performance, I'd go with one of the newer chips. AMD just dropped the price on its Athlon 800 by 30%.
Wow.
25% on its Athlon 650 or 700. Intel's done the same. So these new fast chips are really quite affordable now. And I think for gaming, you're probably better off getting the faster single processor.
How do you think Windows 2000 is going to do for gaming, Leo?
It's all right. I mean, Quake 3 and Unreal Tournament run very well in it, so the newer games run very well in it if you've got the right drivers for your hardware. Now, when he says game design, that's another matter entirely. For their multiprocessor would be a better choice. Most game design software is going to run very well in it.
B?
No. Well, yeah, sure. If you design a B game.
Well, maybe you should, because how many are there? Not very many. Make us a game for B. I'd be thrilled.
Yeah, you might not have a lot of sales either. So I guess the answer would be, given what you want to do, you probably should stick with a single high-speed chip. The only people who should go with dual processors are people who are going to be using Linux, Windows 2000, and BOS, and they are going to run multiple programs to take advantage of multiprocessors.
All right. Hey, let's take a moment and say gracias and adieu to our friend Kenny Gal, Cub reporter. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
When you going home?
When?
No hurry.
Kenny and Lucas are on
no
the
hurry, I'm
tonight.
sure.
Are you going home tonight?
Yeah, we're going home tonight.
Wow. Yeah.
Goodness. And they have to go to school tomorrow.
What?
I offered to write them a note,
Yeah, she did.
I did.
Exactly.
Dear
and we might
Kate,
take you up on that, Kate.
I'll write you a note.
Yep.
I don't think it will work.
I'll tell you, though, you're talking about Jim Louderback. I've got it, okay? We have the Sumi Das and the Jim Louderback.
That's pretty
What
good.
do you think? It's better than...
Better than this? I don't know, but see, what's so good if you go Patrick, Jim, and Sumi, see? Patrick, Jim, and Sumi. Patrick, Jim.
Hey, Lucas, thanks for joining us, too, all right?
Lucas, there he is.
There's Luke.
With a non-buckyball.
With a Hoberman. That's it for this edition of the Screensavers. I'm Leo Laporte.
I'm Kate Patello. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time on Screensavers.
See you later.
Bye-bye.